Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fallen Angels. I appreciate everybody that has come here. My channel's starting to blow up a little bit. You know, I'm more than just a little bit. Like those small guys with the little subs and little views. We are not the same. But I ain't big yet. But I thank you all for being here and joining me. I'm gonna react to some Epstein files right now, and disgusting man, despicable man, and we're gonna learn a lot today. And I'm seeing these videos for the first time, just like you. So here we go. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys learn something from it. And we're about to start right now.
Trump and his association with Epstein is back in the news again, this time for an old newspaper article that was recently uncovered. Now, we all know that Trump and Ghislaine Maxwell were very good friends, Ghislaine Maxwell being Epstein's partner in crime. And in fact, when Ghislaine was arrested for the sex trafficking of minors, Trump publicly stated, "I wish her well." Which I definitely wouldn't do if my friend was arrested for trafficking children for sex.
Exactly.
So November 23rd, 1997, this article appeared in the confidential section of the Sunday Mirror newspaper. I'm going to read it to you. Just weeks after ditching his second wife, America's best-known billionaire Donald Trump has fallen under the spell of a 20-year-old English girl. And then it goes on to say Trump met a London model named Anuska de Georgiou. I hope I said that right, but this party was in Manhattan. But this is important here. Several American millionaires already had their eyes on Anuska, but she was there with Robert Maxwell's daughter, Ghislaine, who has introduced several of her attractive friends to the property developer. And then it goes on to fluff Donald up a little bit. So the wording there is telling. Ghislaine, who has introduced several of her attractive friends to the property developer. Ghislaine Maxwell is now in prison for the sex trafficking of children because that's what she had been doing for the past 2 decades. So it's a known fact that Maxwell and Epstein had already met, gotten acquainted, dated for a little bit, and had started up their operation at the time that this article was published. So you can make of that what you will, but to me, even small articles like that are incredibly telling. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section.
That right there, Trump's a little too connected to them, and that's why I think he was trying to brush it all off, because it's not just him. And I'm not Democrat, I'm not Republican. Don't think I'm anything, because I'm not. I'm not here for any politics or anything. I'm just here for the videos. That is it. This is all for entertainment only. All right, TikTok. All right, YouTube. Entertainment only. So here we go.
This drawing from Epstein's birthday book is incredibly disturbing. So this drawing was submitted to Epstein's birthday book. It was just released today. We don't know who drew this or who sent this in, but you can clearly see that the author here is showing Epstein in 1983 handing candy to little girls. And then fast forward 20 years, Epstein is getting massaged by a group of women, most of which are not wearing tops. And one of them even has J.E. tattooed on their butt cheeks.
Yeah, and if you guys look well enough, the one with the J.E. with the tattooed on her butt cheeks, she looks like she's doing something else. I can't say because I don't want to get another copyright, which a lot of my videos are getting copyright stricken. I'm trying to fix it so you can all I don't get shadow banned. But yeah, look at that picture.
We've also now seen the actual letter that was allegedly sent in by Donald Trump for Epstein's birthday, which bears Trump's signature here. I mean, this clearly is what he signs on every letter. There were tons of new photographs of Epstein and victims and friends
down
released,
there,
along with photos and images of intimate moments with him and Ghislaine, and tons of letters from his friends, his family, his assistants, including this letter from a former assistant of Epstein's where they claim they met Trump, Naomi Campbell, Kevin Spacey, Michael Jackson, Clinton, Prince Andrew, and more. There's also this magazine cover submitted to the birthday book by lawyer Alan Dershowitz, which was edited by him to say some weird stuff like, "Consume me, Jeffrey. Intoxicate me, Jeffrey. Jeffrey Epstein's bloody summer. Who was Jack the Ripper? Was it Jeffrey Epstein?" There's so much to get into here, and it's so disturbing. I just recorded a 2-hour breakdown of this book for my YouTube channel, The Conspiracy Files. I'm going to be releasing the video tonight, and I go through every page that's been released. So if you want to hear the full story of the birthday book, some of this stuff is so graphic and so disturbing I can't even talk about it here. So if you want to hear this full breakdown, please head to my YouTube channel and watch the full thing. It's It's really disturbing, and it paints a really disturbing picture not only of Epstein but also of all of his associates who clearly knew either that he was engaged in trafficking or that he was a hypersexual freak of a man. And you'll see why I'm saying that in the video that I'm releasing tonight. It's crazy.
See, I was gonna watch that. I don't know if I could find it. I'm gonna look it up, and I'm gonna watch it just because this guy's very good. He's very good at his ghost hunting videos, but I call him Thor. That's what me and my fiance call him for the blonde hair, long blonde hair. But I'm gonna check that out, the conspiracy files about Jeffrey Epstein. But here we go, fellas and ladies.
Crazy stuff.
Could you please give us your name?
Jeffrey Epstein.
Is it true, sir, that you have what's been described as an egg-shaped penis?
The deposition is adjourned.
My hope was the question alone would get him upset, that he'd slip up. He'd get mad at me. He essentially pled the fifth to every question that was asked of him.
Unbelievable.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Smart man. I think when you do that, you can already tell what the answer would have been.
Video evidence has just been released that proves that we have been lied to for the past 6 years about the Jeffrey Epstein case. So the missing 1-minute video footage that apparently didn't exist was just dropped on the internet yesterday, and it wasn't just a nothing burger. It actually shows, if you look over my head, that at the 44-second mark, somebody actually walks towards Jeffrey Epstein's cell in that missing 1-minute period that apparently, again, didn't exist. Now, this video being released to the public isn't just important because at the 44-second mark, it shows someone walking towards his cell, which is still insane, and I feel like not a lot of people are really talking about that. Like, wasn't the official excuse the guards were sleeping during that period? Well, this shows that someone was not sleeping and they were actually walking towards his cell. But it's also important because this now proves that there was a cover-up, that people were lying. The people in charge have been lying. So Attorney General Pam Bondi, her official reasoning or excuse or now lie as to why this video didn't exist was the fact that it physically didn't exist. Apparently, what she said was every single night at 11:59 to 12 a.m., the video resets and there's just a missing 1-minute period in the security footage. Well, we now know that that is straight up not true. Now, unfortunately, in today's world with the modern technology we have with AI and video editing, and based on the fact that it has already been proven that some of the security footage has been altered and edited in Adobe Premiere Pro, which is a video editing software, and now we know that our Attorney General straight up lied about this footage. Even though this footage has been released, there's really no proof to show that this is actually real. I mean, the U.S. government can do a lot more impressive things with technology than just faking a video. So this is like a walk in the park. We've all seen AI videos. It's really not too hard to alter videos. So my question to you guys is, do you think this security footage is real? And if so, how significant do you think it is that someone was walking towards Epstein's cell during the 1-minute period that allegedly didn't exist?
I think Pam Bondi is a POS because she stated like we were all going to win the lottery and get $1 million each, every citizen, you know, by saying that the client list and all the paperwork is on her desk right now. She's going to release it in part 1, part 2, and you know, all this. And then there's nothing. She's saying there is absolutely nothing after making standing up and making news announcements and just social announcements that it exists. And now, then it didn't exist. I think people above her were trying to tamper her down because there's too many billionaires that are involved in this that are part of it. And I know you can all use your imagination and know who's on my mind. There's a bunch of people, and I know you're probably thinking the same people.
By the time I was 16, I brought him up to 75 girls, all the ages of, 14, 15, 16, people going from 8th grade to 9th grade at just
8th grade
school
to
parties.
9th grade.
Is where I'd recruit him from.
All Jeffrey cared about was go find me more girls. His appetite was insatiable. He couldn't stop. He wanted new, fresh, young faces every single day.
The sheer volume of girls, the frequency, sometimes several or many in the same day, the age of the girls. In some cases, there were victims that didn't know each other, had never met each other, but they had basically the same story.
I remember there was a staircase, and it was like kind of like a spiral almost.
And she brings us up the stairs, and it was like spiral stairs.
You walked into his bedroom, around his bed, to almost like a very little hall, and then it was another door. And that's where everything would happen, was in his bathroom. He would have a dresser, and it was filled with, like, the first drawer was lotion, and then, like, the third drawer down was, like, sex.
Before you know it, I'm being lent out to politicians and to academics and to people that royalty and people that you would never think, like, how did you get into that position of power in the first place if you're this disgusting, evil, decrepit person on the inside?
It's unbelievable. Like royals, and we know who's been accused, who have been on those flights to that island, who's been at that island, who's been partying. We know all those basketball stars that say there's nothing like, being over there and at those parties. And I'm not talking about saying, oh, there's nothing like a Diddy party. I'm talking about the Epstein parties and stuff like that. And the amount of people who would brag about it, and the people in the power and the royal power, like to do decrepit stuff like that, is such as 13-year-olds, probably 12, 14. It's just sick. They're sick. They're sick. They need to be hung by their hands. Because I don't think I can say anything bad on this channel.
There's an island that they take influential people and they have sex with underage people. You'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then if you told me years later that the guy, Epstein, would, first of all, go to jail for doing that very thing, for having sex with underage people, then still be able to court people like Bill Gates and be able to have them and travel with them and go places with them, and then years later, he would be suicided in some way where all the cameras stopped working and no one ever got brought to justice for it in any significant way, and that years after that, Ghislaine Maxwell would be arrested, that she would be tried, that she'd be convicted, and that the list of the people that engaged in this illegal activity would never be released. I would say that is a banana republic bullshit thing. That's not going to happen in the United States of America. People are going to be brought to justice. I don't care how powerful they are, but that's not the case.
That's the thing. All these people were involved, but there is no clients. Only Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Well, they're the only ones. What about all the probably hundreds or 100 people, all the billionaires that were involved in it? None of them have been brought to justice at this moment. And it's sickening. It's really sickening to me.
Jeffrey Epstein might not be dead, and what I found will shock you. Everyone was told Jeffrey Epstein died in 2019 inside his Manhattan jail cell. The official story said he was found lifeless, but from the very beginning, nothing about his death made sense. Guards suddenly fell asleep, cameras mysteriously stopped working, and the case was closed far too quickly. But here's where it gets strange. Just last month, a man who looked exactly like Epstein was reportedly spotted outside a high-security compound, one that isn't even listed on public maps. Witnesses claim claim they saw him stepping out of a black SUV, surrounded by armed guards, as if he never left the world of power he once controlled. Some insiders whisper that his passing was staged to protect the elites connected to him, and that he was quietly transferred to a prison so secret most people don't even know it exists. If that's true, then why has his image been showing up in blurry photos, airports, and even private islands? And if Epstein really is alive, what does that mean for the powerful people who thought their secrets were buried with him? If the rumors are right, his escape could mean the world is about to see the return of one of the most dangerous men of our time. And the truth about his connections could shake everything we thought we knew.
I think if he was killed, which if he did die, he was killed. He did not do it himself. And he was done to silence because he would have brought everybody down. He would have said everybody that he's done that for, brought little girls to, who came to him for little girls. Tons of people had their careers, their lifeline, their life, their money on the line. They wanted him out. And either they killed him or this story is true too. They got him out. They faked his death. They made the security guards say they fell asleep. The owl was missing in the video and transferred him to a prison type of situation that's not even on the maps, that you can't even locate, that's not even documented, and he's treated like royalty until he dies. Not allowed to leave there, but he gets everything he can need. He probably even still gets girls, you know, and he's just going to go through all of his money. He's going to be paying his billions of dollars to keep living that life, as long as he keeps his mouth shut and he doesn't let people see and know. So I don't know, it can go either way. It's up to you to decide what you feel is what really happened.
8 crazy facts about Jeffrey Epstein you never knew. The last one will blow your mind. Number 1. Despite 24/7 surveillance, both cameras malfunctioned and guards fell asleep the night he died, raising major concerns over the real cause of his death. Number 2. He owned a private island in the Caribbean, nicknamed Pet Island by locals because of conspiracies over what really happened on that island. Number 3. He was friends with royalty, presidents, and billionaires, but no one claims to really know what he did. Number 4. He had a fake passport with a Saudi Arabian address and a different name, raising questions over his real identity. Number 5. He built a secret temple on his island, complete with a locked underground floor. Number 6. Epstein was mysteriously gifted a $77 million NYC mansion for free. Many believe this is because of leverage he held over powerful people. Number 7. His private jet logs includes A-list celebrities, former presidents, and top scientists, and the public wants this list released. Number 8. Epstein claimed to be a billionaire, but no one could prove where his money came from.
Probably came from blackmails.
I voted for him. I voted for Trump. And for him to say what he's saying is beyond me, because I put my hope in him and he's supposed to protect us. And for him to say that this is a joke and that it's sides, this is not sides. We will say it time and time again. None of us are up there accusing him of anything. There is no one that is accusing him of any wrongdoing. So for the fact that he is saying those things and saying it's a hoax, who are you hiding for then? Because if it's not you, then who is it? And that scares me. Who is it?
Shame. Really is.
Do you think Epstein killed himself sincerely?
I don't know. I will say that, he was a fixture in Palm Beach.
Yeah.
I think he probably committed suicide. He had a life with, beautiful homes and beautiful everything, and he, all of a sudden, he's incarcerated and not doing very well. There are those people, there are many people, I think you're one of them, right? But a lot of people think that he was killed. He knew a lot on a lot of people.
He was killed.
You think so?
I think the closer you look, I'm not a conspiracy person at all. I believe everything I hear. But yeah, the closer you look into it, I mean, the Attorney General of the United States, your Attorney General clearly lied about the Epstein death.
Yeah,
and
he was.
Why?
He was, certainly it wasn't well done. They had no cameras, they had no anything, everybody was sleeping, and a case could be made. Look, I'm not gonna get involved in it.
Ridiculous.
I'm not afraid to name names. And so if they want to give me a list, I will walk in that Capitol on the House floor and I'll say every damn name that abused these women.
So this isn't one political party or the other. It's a culmination of everyone work together to silence these women. And
Two wings to the same bird. It doesn't matter if you're left or right. It's both wings to the same bird.
protect Jeffrey Epstein and his cabal. The truth needs to come out. And the government holds the truth. The FBI, the DOJ, and the CIA holds the truth. This is the most important fight we can wage here in Congress, is fighting for innocent people that never receive justice. And the women behind me have never received justice.
Fucking shame.
By the way, I never went to the island. I never had the privilege of going to his island. And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island.
Mr. Epstein, how long have you been sexually attracted to underage minor females?
Objection, harassing, argumentative.
Are you kidding? No, I mean, I don't feel like I'm divulging any secrets here, right?
Move to strike.
Mr. Epstein, were you sexually abused as a minor?
Again?
Were you sexually abused as a minor?
You know, I'd like to respond to all your, if any, questions seem to be relevant, but I would like to respond to any relevant question at this time. However, my attorneys have counseled me that I cannot provide answers to the questions relevant to this lawsuit today.
Magician David Copperfield is one of the biggest creeps on earth. And trust me, you're going to see why in this TikTok. So if you don't know David Copperfield, he's a world famous magician that really got famous in Vegas. And for years, his magic tricks have entertained people from across the world. But in May of this year, he was accused by 16 different women of schmexual misconduct. So these claims stretch from the 1980s all the way up to 2014. And some of the women who brought these allegations against David claimed that they were under the age of 18 when he assaulted them. At least 3 of these women claimed that David drugged them before having relations with them, which obviously were not consensual. He's also been accused of 4 instances of either groping women or making them grope him on stage during performances. One of these accusers claims that she was 15 years old when she met David, and that they stayed in touch over the phone. Yes, that means David essentially groomed her. And when she turned 18, they had a consensual encounter, but now years later, the woman has realized that David groomed her from the age of 15. Now, David Copperfield and Jeffrey Epstein were very close friends. And in my next TikTok, I'm going to explore their relationship and some of the disturbing notes found at Epstein's house about David. But with all of these women coming forward against David, 16 different women, and also some of them claiming that they were minors when they were either assaulted or groomed, it seems that it's more than likely that David was participating in Jeffrey Epstein's human trafficking ring when it was in operation. So why hasn't he been prosecuted on any of these charges? 16 women making claims against him, pedophile claims, and he's been linked with one of the world's most infamous human traffickers.
Great question. I would like the answer to that.
And yet, no investigation. That's how this whole thing seems to go. If you want to hear my expose on Jeffrey Epstein, it's over an hour long. Go listen to the first episode of my new podcast, The Conspiracy Files. It's available now on all streaming platforms, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
There was a minute that was off the counter, and what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing.
Minute, hour.
I was only 14 years old when I met Jeffrey. It was the summer of high school. I was working 3 jobs to try to support my mom and my sister when a friend of mine in the neighborhood told me that I could make $300 to give an older guy a massage. From 14 to 17 years old, I went and worked for Jeffrey instead of receiving an education. Every day I hoped that
he would offer me a real job. That day never came until he finally told me that I was too old. Today is the first time that I ever speak publicly about what happened to me.
Ridiculous.
I was 19. They had me cut my hair really short, like Rosemary's Baby. I had never seen anything like that before in my life. So I just went and sat down and I was super nervous. Finally, he walks in with a towel wrapped around his body. I didn't know where I was. He asked me what my name was. He asked me where I was from. I told him I was from Texas. He laid face down on the massage table where I very awkwardly began to massage him. I didn't know what I was doing, and he asked me to take my clothes off. I was trembling. I was so scared, and I took my clothes off. He began to touch me aggressively, and it quickly turned into an assault. I distinctly remember him smiling and enjoying the fact that he was doing this horrible thing to me that obviously terrified me and was violating me, but he was somehow getting off on that.
Do you remember these books from your childhood, the McGraw-Hill science textbooks? I mean, this company published all sorts of textbooks for elementary through high school kids, and I definitely remember reading some of these in my classes. But did you know that one of the companies that published these books was owned by Ghislaine Maxwell's father? If you don't know Ghislaine, she was Jeffrey Epstein's business partner, and she helped run his massive sex trafficking operation. She was the madam in the operation and would recruit girls into his terrible ring. But we're not really here to talk about her. We're here to talk about Robert Maxwell, her father. Now, Robert was an extremely wealthy British businessman. So in 1984, after Robert Maxwell had already acquired a lot of wealth, he purchased a publishing group. This group included publications in newspapers like the Daily Mirror, which is still in existence. I mean, there is a lot to uncover about Robert Maxwell. He was best friends with a lot of British royals. He rubbed elbows with celebrities, with the elite. And like I said before, he was extremely wealthy. He even had a massive private yacht that he nicknamed the Lady Ghislaine after his daughter. Now, with all of these powerful connections, there has to be some sort of controversy, right? Well, for decades, it's been alleged that Robert Maxwell was actually a spy. And people don't really know which intelligence agency he worked for the most, but he has ties to the Russian KGB, the British intelligence service MI6, and the Israeli intelligence service, the Mossad. People have alleged that Robert Maxwell was actually a triple or double agent, meaning that he might have been sharing information between 3 different Secret Service organizations. Obviously, this showed that he didn't really have anybody that he worked for in particular, he just chased the money and the power. It's very strange that his blood daughter Ghislaine would end up being directly involved with one of the biggest sex trafficking rings in world history. Now, you can read a lot about Robert Maxwell's supposed spying. One fact that I found interesting was that 6 former and current heads of Israeli intelligence attended his funeral, but his death was extremely suspicious. So in November of 1991, he went sailing on his private yacht, he disappeared, and just a few days later, his completely nude body was found washed up. According to people that examined Robert's body, there was a graze on his shoulder, but there were no other noticeable injuries. But something strange is that when experts took a look at his body, nobody could conclusively say exactly how he died. And the official statement said that he may have had a heart attack and then drowned as he was urinating nude on the side of his yacht. Years later, though, a lot of different things would come out about Robert, including the fact that he bugged a lot of devices and rooms that his own employees were in because he felt like they were being disloyal and he couldn't trust anybody. His own sons even came out and said that while they didn't know exactly what had happened to him, they knew that he didn't take his own life because he wouldn't do that, and he had talked about how he would never do that. So obviously, this is just unbelievably bizarre how this all ties into Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein, that whole saga. And I feel like it's something that a lot of people don't talk about and the government really hasn't looked into. And back to the beginning, I can't ever really look at one of these books the same again.
Nope.
Us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know. In the year 2000, I was taken to Jeffrey Epstein's island while on a photo shoot on a nearby island. Who I saw and what I experienced there was a glimpse into a very dark and disturbing world. For years after, I tried to avoid Jeffrey. Epstein's reach went to the very top of fashion, arts, and entertainment. This did not just happen to underage girls in Florida. In New York City, hundreds of young, ambitious women were abused by him.
Release it. Release it.
But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is.
Or maybe you haven't a part to play in it, and you want everybody to be distracted by all these other things that you may put out, the government may put out to have people distracted, so your name doesn't get put out there, and you're taken away from being president, and that would be the thing you would say if you were guilty. A guilty person would say that. To say it's boring when there's so many victims, that takes a lot of balls. That takes a lot of fucking balls.
Have you been living in the neighborhood for a long time?
Yeah.
And did you ever see any really rich and powerful people go inside this building?
You want to know who I saw going in there? Mm-hmm. Everyone you've heard about.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you name any names?
Yeah, you know them all from the newspaper.
Did you see Bill Clinton going there?
Who?
Bill Clinton?
Yeah.
Bill Gates?
No.
Trump?
Yeah, I think of the other ones. Andrew.
Prince Andrew, you saw Prince Andrew going there. And what do you think actually happened inside of this home?
All the most terrible things you can think of both.
And what do you think the truth is about the Epstein files?
Well, someone has them, yeah. Maxwell probably would be the best source, but she'll stay put.
Would you support Donald Trump if he were to give her a pardon to let her spill all the information?
No.
No way.
Because that means she's out of jail.
Mm-hmm.
She was definitely his partner, I believe that.
And so you've seen people like Prince Andrew, Trump, the Clintons, a lot of other people walk inside this building.
Yeah, well, you knew it. They all come with security guards who park here or stand out here, so you can't miss it. Mm-hmm. And I saw plenty over the years. This is a long time ago now. Before we knew what was going on, just young girls. I mean, young.
How old
teenagers.
were the girls that you saw go in?
Well, because they were coming from schools. They were coming from public schools.
Really?
So they were high school age.
Wow, so you saw high schoolers going inside
You
here.
could tell. I always come this way home, and you'd cross the street, and maybe on the far corner would be two girls. Now, don't get nervous. It's going to be all right. He's really a nice man. You know, he promised people that didn't know people like this exist in a gorgeous house like this. They didn't know he was going to abuse them. He said, "Oh, you're so beautiful. You know, when you get out of high school, I'm going to get you a modeling job. I'm going to set you up." And you know, he promised them all kinds of things, and they unfortunately believed him.
Gross.
You weren't ever on Jeffrey Epstein's jet, were you?
I was on Jeffrey Epstein's jet 2 times. I was on it in 1993, and I was on it and I went to Florida with my wife and 2 children to visit my mom over Easter. My wife had some kind of relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell, and they offered us a ride to Palm Beach. So I went then, and then on another occasion, I flew again with my family, with I think 4 of my children, and Mary, my wife, to Rapid City, South Dakota, to go fossil hunting for a weekend, and but otherwise I was never on his jet alone. I've been very open about this from the beginning. This was in '93, so it was 30 years ago. It was before anybody knew about Jeffrey Epstein's his nefarious issues, and I agree with you that all of this information should be released. And we should get real answers on what happened to Jeffrey Epstein.
and any of the high-level political people that he was involved with, all of that should be open to the public. It should be absolutely transparent. And, you know, I don't see why any of those records would have any redactions in them. Why would we be hiding that from the American public?
Well, you might.
See, now, you know, I'm going to end it right here because I just had enough. And I'm sure you guys did too. And it's a sick world we live in. There's a lot of sick people in high power. And they can all lie. They can all do what they want and lie and just cover it all up. You know, and they keep saying they want to show what they want to show. Well, where the fuck is it? Where's the goddamn list? And I hope those survivors of the abuse release their own list and tell on all these billionaires, multi-hundred millionaires, royalty members, just A-list actors, just people that are just disgusting scum of this world. But that's the end of this reaction video. I hope you guys enjoy it. You guys are my fallen angels. I'm just a talking head. This is your channel. I might be doing another video later about ghosts and stuff like that. But this is something for you to sit and chew on for a little while, and I'm gonna need to do the same myself because this is just sick and disgusting. So I hope you guys enjoy yourselves. If you guys have any videos that you want me to react to, please send it to negativecreep504@gmail.com. Thank you. And this is it.